For me, it was a good experience growing up gay in Beirut, except for my father, who I'm still not out to. I don't talk to him. He's like cut off of the family.
Are you worried he would see this video?
At this point, I'm not anymore. I don't need him in any way anymore in my life. So if you see this, Dad, surprise, I'm gay.
How did you feel when I first asked you to be a part of this documentary?
I was gonna say no. If you're Lebanese, if you're Arab and you're queer and you're talking in front of a camera, that's already huge.
What made you decide to do it?
I have a voice now and I will use it. I was given the privilege and the opportunity to learn about these things, to communicate them and to create something out of them. And I think that even if I will struggle and I will have to deal with the consequences of my own family and the people who care about me, it is my duty, I think, to use my voice for others who cannot. I know that I'm doing something right, I guess. Do I start?
If at any point I ask anything that you don't feel comfortable answering, once again,
No problem. I have grown up all my life in Beirut. I barely had any discrimination or like homophobic reaction towards me. I really never felt attacked or insecure, afraid because of who I am in Beirut, which is, I'm not the majority of the population at all. I'm such a small percentage. I meet a lot of foreigners that are LGBT that come to Lebanon. They seem very intrigued, first because we seem so happy, even though we're gay in Lebanon, and they have a very extremist views on us. They think we are like, live in fear and sadness. We can't go out. Like, it's not like this. It's bad, but not bad. Like, I go out and I'm me. Just like I'm more discreet than I would be in another country. I think that a lot of ideas people have about Lebanon that are completely not even close to reality, that makes me mad way more than the LGBT aspect of Lebanon. Oh, Lebanon is a dictator. No, we are not. Lebanese people are not free. Stop it. We are like, no, come visit, go check sites, go get information. Don't talk like this. And then they say, no, I'm not that different from their people and them. So they'll be like, oh, we're the same actually, and we start being friends, just like this. I don't think there's a truth, one truth, but there's our truth, like Lebanese people. I am one of them. Like, this is one truth of Lebanon. You're gonna see a lot of other truths.
Just like anywhere else.
Yeah, just like anywhere else.
I experienced a lot of discrimination at first in my own family. It was hard for, and it still is hard for, my parents to come to terms to what it means to be trans, what it means to be born a girl and have short hair. Simple things like that can seem super hard for others to understand. And Tomboy is one of my favorite movies. What's funny is I actually made my mom watch it. She told me that she watched it. She told me that a few of the characters actually spoke to her and she enjoyed watching it. Like, I hoped that it was gonna start a conversation and that it would be the beginning of something new, but it just ended up being this whole don't ask, don't tell situation. I think it hurts them that I'm not, that I don't know.
How do you feel when you see, like, it's Pride Month?
Yeah.
And they're just like hundreds of thousands of people just out in the streets in daylight?
I feel left out from like a big part of who I am when I see this outside. I'm like, fuck, why can't I do this here? I'm very out and loud and proud about who I am. I want to have fun and hold hands while walking, but my girlfriend be like, oh no, we can't do this here. And I'm like, okay. So it's a bit frustrating, but what can we do? It's a slow process, so it's okay. We have to fight for our equality.
Showy, guys, we're getting there.
Exactly. That's the whole point of it.
I think it's great and beautiful to see that Pride is happening all over the world and more and in different cities. Like, you actually feel that we're not being represented properly here, but we are being represented in spaces where the media coverage is very strong. So I think that this is super powerful, but I think also that it is very important to note that our Pride history in the Arab world is very different than that in the Western and white countries, and we need to make sure that we know that. We can't just replicate Pride here just because we saw a model in LA. You can see that here. When I was a kid, I was a huge Glee fan. I wonder why. I changed my name about 5 years ago, and I think it's been Ash for a good while. I can't even recognize my birth name anymore. I'm into visual arts and filmmaking, experimenting with film and documentaries as well. I want to be able to show these things to my parents so that they can be proud of me. But then when I show it to them and it says Ash, they just get uncomfortable. It was always super hard to come out and to come out to myself before coming out to my friends, even though I trusted them. I cut my hair, I changed my style, and all of these different things started to happen. I'm much more comfortable talking about these things, and I've come out to a lot of people, including my own parents and my sisters. But it's still a huge struggle to accept myself in a city that doesn't really accept me. It's really good. Mais malgré tout, je me dis parfois que je t'aime. Malgré tout, je t'aime. Oui, je t'aime malgré tout. It's basically, despite everything, I tell myself that I love you. And yes, despite everything, I do love you. It's about Beirut. And so I relate to that a lot.
Can you tell me about the tattoo behind your ear?
Yes, it's Lebanon. I was 18. No one really understand why I got it. Everybody was like, "Oh, you don't like Lebanon. You keep criticizing it." It's not because you criticize something and you want to leave that you don't love it. Like, I think that criticism comes somewhere because you deeply love something. I can't handle how bad the situation sometimes gets here, but Lebanon has and will always have a very special place in my heart. It's my home. It's my home. My whole memory is here. My whole life till now is here. I never left it yet. So, yeah.
I understand.
I think it's a generation crisis in Lebanese people. Like, are we Lebanese enough to stay? Do we love Lebanon enough to leave life? Did you grow up in Beirut? Or?
I actually grew up in Saudi Arabia for 13 years. I was born there. It's a huge part of who I am, and many of my peers are surprised because they think that it was super oppressing, but I think that on the contrary, every country will offer a different experience, and I don't know, it did help me become who I am, and my coming of age and my puberty was all here in Lebanon, and so this country also has a lot to do with the way I identify today. Yeah. There's all of my pictures before I cut my hair, and my parents didn't want to put anything with my short hair until I graduated, and there was the picture of both my sisters' graduation, so they kind of had to put my picture with short hair when I graduated. See, that's me and my dad. People think I look like him now, and I like that comment. He hates it when we're compared, but I really like it.
I know your girlfriend is here, but what about dating? What is that like in Lebanon?
Like, the community in Lebanon is very close, so we know everybody. Like, every lesbian already dated someone you know is the ex of someone and so on.
It's like that in Sydney too.
Yeah, it's really the L word, like everybody knows everyone.
Yeah, it's so real. What are your hopes here specifically in the next however long?
The first basic human rights, not being a criminal because you're gay or trans. Like, this khalas, it needs to stop. Then after we can talk about marriage and stuff. I can't live here any longer. I'm suffocating for a lot of reasons other than being gay. But planning on returning eventually in Lebanon with more power to change things and capacity. And hopefully a family and a wife. And yeah, I'm just like living fully my life, my young life of a 22 years old human being.
The more I work in the field of arts or filmmaking or any of that, I'm slowly shifting into advocacy, and I'm slowly making all of my work related to my identity because it's a way to express myself, and I feel that it's really important. And that's one way of coping with the country, by making art out of it. It allows me to understand myself and accept my background instead of rejecting it and just fleeing like everyone almost does. So this here, I drew 4 little images, and so this is actually something that often happens to me when I go out. So anytime I'm in a public bathroom, someone would knock on my door, usually the security, and they're gonna ask me to get out because they think that I'm in the wrong bathroom. And it's just a vicious cycle because there's no real ending to this story. It's just how to cope with something you have no control over.
Are there many safe spaces?
The safe spaces for the LGBTQ plus community in Lebanon, you need to find them. And sometimes you need to create them. A lot of art spaces, some clubs, some pubs. Although there's an issue because you always feel like if you're coming to Lebanon and you're asking someone who's queer, where do you go to feel safe? A lot of the times we're gonna say to pubs or a nightclub. Not everyone has access to them. It's still elitist. It's still people who have the privilege to, first of all, live in Beirut, move around in Beirut, and have the opportunity to know about these spaces. But I hope we can also answer indifferently and say that, yeah, we're also safe at home. That's it.